I had to come back or whatever. We already paid for it, so that's right. We're coming back every Sunday, so you won't miss it. Now today we have a great show, man. I got so much stuff again. I got a 2-hour show I got to do in about 60 minutes. Yeah, so we're gonna speed right along. Now our main guest in the studio here is Lynn Dyson, and he's a great guy, man. Just talking to him down there and reading about him and researching him all week, and he's doing just great work. Oh, all those lights clash with me. Maybe we're not. and he's the founder of the Multimedia Training Institute. Now, this guy's really saving the world. You know, helping kids learn about radio production, video production, web, starting businesses, everything. And this is just young teens, you know, to do all this stuff. And this is what's he doing. He's got a nonprofit, figured out how to get the money to do all this stuff. So he's going to share the secrets with you. Okay, we're going to do that. Then I also have another guy calling in later who is actually now on Kickstarter trying to raise, he started out trying to raise $14,000, yeah, and he's up to almost $50,000, and it's still clicking away, and he's got about one more week to go on that. So we're going to try to help him push him over the $50,000 mark. Yeah, there'll be like home shopping, you know, and he invents games, you know. I mean, just neat stuff, stuff you can do, you know, on Kickstarter nowadays. Okay, but first, we have a fellow named Darish still, who's a credit expert. This guy's been in the business for a long time. He runs one of those organizations that's HUD approved to help you with your credit problems. And that's who we're going to talk about first. But first, watch this, and we'll be right back. Maybe.
You don't have to hire a high-priced Washington lobbyist to get all the government money and help that you're eligible for. I'm Matthew Lesko, and I've been studying government programs for over 25 years. And my new interactive website will show you everything you're eligible for only $20. Learn about grants, loans, and direct payments at any income. Now, the financial experts aren't going to tell you about this because they can't make any money from them. Or learn about free mortgage and credit counseling services from experts whose motive isn't to sell you something, but just to get you out of financial trouble. Or free healthcare services that doctors don't even know about. This isn't welfare money. It's money for you to start a business to grow jobs in America. You to buy real estate to invest in America. Or you to get an education so America can compete in a world economy. So let me show you, coach you, and help you take advantage of every program that this great country has to offer.
That's me, a little younger, not too much. But we have Darish still on the line. Can you hear us, Darish?
I sure can, Matthew. How are you?
Wonderful. Well, I was just going to open the window wider if you couldn't hear us, so maybe you could hear us that way. Well, Darish is the president and CEO of the Consumer Credit Management Services. And tell me if I'm not saying this right, Darish, but you're one of those cool agencies that the Department of Housing and Urban Development gives money to help people with credit problems, right?
Credit problems, housing problems, all sorts of financial difficulties.
So home ownership, credit counseling, personal finance, community stuff, all that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Well, actually, but today we're going to go like the basics of how to deal with your credit card debt, right? So take us through this. We have some slides with you, too, that you sent up. You know, Darish is a working fool, man. You were doing this. You're setting up for this little radio show, too. So thank you so much. So
it's never a problem. Thank you.
Okay. So where do we start, Darish?
Well, you know, there's 5 tips that I do a lot of public speaking and classes as it relates to consumer credit and how consumers, some steps that they can take right now to get their credit score moving in the right direction. So there's 5 basic tips. One of the first things you need to do is review your credit report annually. And I know that a lot of consumers, they see the commercials for freecreditreport.com, which, by the way, is not actually free. But the Fair the Fair Credit, the Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act entitles every consumer a free or a free credit report from the three major credit bureaus once every year, and this is absolutely free. And where you go to get that is annualcreditreport.com. If you're not going there every 12 months to review your credit, you're doing yourself a disservice. You've got to know where you stand before you can put together a plan. Second, make sure you're paying those bills on time. See, this is essential. 35% of the credit score is looking at payment history. Your ability to keep those payments made on time, every time, all the time. That's the number one way you can truly get that score moving in the right direction. Third, keep your credit card balances low. The rule of thumb is 1/3 of the available credit. So if you have a $1,000 available credit, you shouldn't carry any more than a $300 balance on those cards month to month. Anything more than that, and it starts to work against the score. And 30% of the score is looking at that. I would also suggest, on number 4, don't open too many accounts too rapidly. In fact, only open new accounts as you need them. Opening a lot of new accounts at one time lowers the average length of credit history, which works against the score. 15% of the score is looking at that. Only as needed. That's very important to remember. And if you need any help with any aspects of this, if you pull your credit report, you don't actually understand what's going on, or you're having trouble putting together your own plan, contact a nonprofit credit counseling organization, someone like me that can sit you down for free or extremely low cost, look at your credit, give you an action plan, and set you on the path to success.
Well, that's amazing. Let's see that next graph, okay? Show the next graph of Darish's there, but yeah, that's pretty.
And that's the credit score graph. Basically, those 5 tips that I discussed to improve your credit, it's based on this credit score. This is a FICO score graph, and FICO, of course, is the most commonly used score in the industry.
So this is how important each of those things are to your credit score, right?
Absolutely, and as you can see, payment history and amount owed.
Huh? And amount
those are
owed.
the
That's
two biggies.
it. And then length of credit history, new credit 10%, and types of credit. Yeah, another
and types
10%.
of credit is your ability to manage a diversified portfolio of different credit accounts.
Well, the next slide. Let's show the next slide, because this to me was the best, man. Man, you know what? I saw this slide, and what you said. I went there yesterday morning, and I put in my information, got my credit report here. If you put that back, the camera on me, I got my credit report. Here it is, and it took me about 3 minutes. That was it. I never did that in my life. I had no idea. and I'm the financial expert.
Don't. A lot of consumers don't know where to go, Matthew.
Yeah.
It's really great that you're providing this information to your listeners.
Because, all I knew was I'd have to call freecreditreport.com, and what I was thinking, I know maybe it's free, but, they're going to get my name and beat the hell out of me with something,
Absolutely.
if they're giving me something for free. So, but now you're saying it's not even free, because they're going to sell you stuff, they're going to do. But this was painless. I went right in, and I did the first one, and I got the Experian. I guess I could get one for each one, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So I just
and
got
it's free every 12 months. It's
I know.
absolutely
It's
free.
wonderful. All the stuff is in there. Stuff I didn't even know about, is in there. It's terrific. But it doesn't have my credit score. Does that come somewhere else, or does it matter at this point?
And credit scores you're not going to get for free from annualcreditreport.com. But generally credit scores you do have to pay for. But if you go to creditkarma.com, you can get creditkarma.com. You can get an experience.
No, I'm a bad speller, as some people know. K-A-R-M-A.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
Got you too. Huh? See, but I flunked English in college.
It's
it's
CREDITKARMA.com.
KARMA.com. Okay.
And at creditkarma.com, you're always going to get a free credit score there. So if you need a free credit score, go to creditkarma.com. It's guaranteed free.
Wow. So I can get my whole credit report and see all the stuff on there, and that everybody else sees, and I actually see who's asking for my credit report, right?
You'll see the inquiries, yes.
Yeah.
And another thing, just a quick note about inquiries. The inquiries work against your score. So if you're in the market for a major purchase, it will help to contact the credit counselor. There are some inquiries that can count where you can do multiple within a specified time period, and it will count as one inquiry. But you've got to understand what that time period is. Too many inquiries work against your score, so be aware of that.
I see. Now, who do I contact to tell? Like, if I'm buying a house and trying to finance it, and I mean, that's what I saw was the people, because I just refinanced my house. I saw all those people asking for my credit cards and stuff, my credit history. So would I contact the Experian people, or who do I talk to if I'm going to do something?
You can contact the credit bureaus directly. They actually have online services where you can get some information. But your best bet, if you really want to speak person to person with someone who, a counselor that's diversified, they know about lending, mortgage lending, credit cards, credit scores, I would suggest you contact a HUD-approved nonprofit credit counseling agency like ours.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, now let's see. The credit. I just think this is terrific. I never did. I don't know why I've been advising people on credit. I never did it myself, and you made it so easy for me, Darren. It was just wrong. Let's put up that last slide again, so people get the websites there.
Sure.
That's
feel
on
free to
number
visit our
5.
site. Now, I believe I also have our toll-free number on that slide for your listeners as well, your viewers as well.
I'm back on the one with the credit reports. Now, what's the difference if I go to the annual? I went to the annual credit report, and it looked like I get them all there, right?
Sure.
Okay. Now, the other ones you have, the other 3 are as if I just want to go directly and get them individually from there, correct?
Well, when you go through the annual credit report portal, it guides you into those 3 credit bureaus' websites through that portal.
I see. So I'm going to the other 3 by going to the first one, correct?
Absolutely. And it's through that first portal is where you're going to get that guaranteed free report.
Okay. Okay, now the next slide. Now, I didn't put up your last slide because I wanted to show your website, so I put your website. But give us your 800 number. We're looking for you, okay?
Sure. The 800 number is 800-473-3328.
So that's 473-3328. And
that's correct.
You could get free, beginning counseling and, go over that report with somebody. And there are other services that you charge for, right?
And a lot of our services are most of them are free or low cost. We offer debt management programs, student loan counseling and consolidation, foreclosure prevention counseling, bankruptcy counseling. We're a full service agency.
Well, again, let's do it again. We'll do one of the others. Maybe student debt. We'll do or the reversible mortgage. No, what do you call that? For seniors selling their house. Or
the reverse mortgage.
Reverse mortgage, right. That those kind of issues that we all come with because this is great information. And thank you for getting my credit report.
You got it, and Matthew, you've got my number. You call me anytime.
You bet. Okay, thank you so much, there. Okay, watch this. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in to Lesko Free Radio. I hope you enjoy this show because I enjoy doing it. And if you want to learn how to start using these programs, listen, I set up a free webpage called UncleLesko.com. You can go there right now and download the 5 best grants just for your state. So that's UncleLesko.com. Go there now, get the 5 best grants for your state, and start taking advantage of the stuff now. You know why? Because it's free. Also, we're going to take your calls later on the show and answer your questions. We'll answer anything. Man, I could show you a source of money and free help to do almost anything you want to do in life. So what you do is you call 202-643-9006. That's 202-643-9006. And if you don't get through for some reason or the show time runs out, you can always send an email. Boom, did I say that right? Email me at letsgofreeradio@gmail.com. That's letsgofreeradio@gmail.com. So we want to answer your questions. So call or write. Oh, please. Now what happened is she says, am I ready? Now if I say no, what different is going to happen? Going to get somebody else in, or have Lynn fill in the show for me, or whatever.
Hey,
They
I'm
were
here.
wonderful.
Hey.
Nice to have you. And you're
Great
probably
to
going to
be
do
here.
it better, me, because you're an actor. You're
Great to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you. Lynn Dyson, he does great work, guys. I mean, he's one of those people who was so fortunate, like I am, to find something early in life that you really feel you have to do. And that's what I think our show is about. I'm trying to do is get... I'm so embarrassed. I'm so goddamn happy that I'm trying to show people some tools.
That's
so
right.
They could do that too.
That's right.
Now what Lynn does, he takes young people
That's
around here. Give us a slide of his the next one of his website. That's number 8, I think, right? Yeah, and he takes young people and trains them in the arts. Is
Right.
basically what it is,
in
right?
production. I have a passion for it. I have a passion for it.
Production,
Yeah.
And you're a famous actor yourself, right?
Yeah, my background is theater, and I graduated right here in Washington, right across the street, Howard
Right.
University, School of Communication. And I joined a company called the DC Black Repertory Theater Company that Robert Hooks started.
Absolutely.
You
No,
remember
well,
that?
I'm old enough to remember all that.
Right. And so-
Robert Hooks, for those young people out
That's
there,
right.
he was a big-time actor.
Right.
Yeah,
Kevin Hooks, you may
Right,
know him, his
exactly.
son, and Debbie
Yeah.
Allen, and Lynn
Right.
Whitfield.
Oh, Debbie Allen is a relative of hers?
No, they all came out of the
Oh,
DC
I
Black
see.
Rep. Lynn Whitfield.
Oh, no
all of
kidding.
them
Debbie
came
Allen,
out.
yeah, big-time dancing, yeah.
So that was my model. You know, they did it for theater.
I see.
And I was in the School of Communication at Howard. So I said, why not use that same model
I
for
see.
communication? And so at that time, I was doing multiple medias. I was doing radio and script writing and so forth. So there was no multimedia
I
in
see.
1982. I was ahead of my time, you know.
That's a problem sometimes.
Ahead of my time. So over the years, I've worked with young people, and we've developed projects using
Show the next slide. You see
using
something.
different issues. It could be the environment. It could be housing. It could be the greening of America.
So
It
this
could be
is
civil rights
the
movement.
main program? Is this the main program that we're showing now?
Right. Well, that's one of the things that we do.
do,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the main flyer there, where we, young people like this place here in terms of the music. They learn how to take their beats in their music. They learn how to edit video. They learn how to use the camera, the lighting, the audio. They tie it all together. They learn how to do the graphics. They learn how to do the social media. This becomes a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
Now you begin to take all of that, and how do you monetize it?
Right.
How do you put it out there and create income from that? And so
Yes.
then you get government funding. Of course, you know about that.
Yep.
You know, here at a local level, you go to your local DC Commission on the Arts, and you go to various different civic associations.
Yeah.
They have the ANC's Advisory Neighborhood Commission. You know, so it's a-
Well, actually,
you
let
can
me
look
show
at a
you
lot
some of the
local
lists that you
places.
have on your line. No, show them 14. It's a little ahead of schedule, but that is, I mean, I'm so impressed with the stuff. I mean, there's from your website, all the
Right,
folks,
That
you know, that
involved.
now you even get money from the Justice Department for your stuff.
Yeah, we've.
Why?
we do
Why
that.
does Justice give you
Well,
money?
you know, again, they're looking at youth and they're looking at juvenile delinquency. And, you know, if you catch them early, then maybe they won't go into the
Right.
justice system.
I see.
You follow
Right,
what I'm
right. They're
saying? So
saving
let's get
money
them
on
early.
that end.
That's right. Let's
Yeah.
get them early. Let's get them involved in
Yeah.
something. Let's show them, demystify. They love music videos. Let's show them how to make a music video.
Yeah.
Demystify the issue. Let's take their neighborhood and their history and they take their issues and they create their own story. They
Yeah.
need to tell their own story.
Right.
You know, and how do we bring their own story to life? You know, how does that own story impact people's
Yeah.
lives?
So make them feel important.
That's
then-
right.
Then I mean,
Let's
I
hear
was
their
like
voice.
that.
Let's
Yeah.
hear their voice. Then we
Yeah.
have a voice.
Yeah.
How do you get the voice
Exactly.
out there?
Oh, I've been
Right?
fighting that my whole life. And if I had someone like you when I was a kid, everybody said, "Just sit down, Lesko." I
That's
was
right.
just a pain in the butt with a voice. So you go and nurture these kids to
That's
give
right.
them something important to do.
And we create great product that empowers people,
Yeah.
not just the young people, but the content of what
Yeah,
we're
what you're
doing.
doing.
It's important. Like
Yeah.
we did a piece on the solar energy. And
Solar
the,
energy?
solar
Really?
energy and the greening of America and how do you turn water off and how do you keep your heat down to a certain level and stuff like that. We did a piece on the Anacostia River. And the
Oh, I
clean-
saw
and the
that.
clean
That was
up.
that was
Lessons
terrific.
from the waterfront, the
Right.
Anacostia.
Yeah, so you learned all that.
Oh,
I didn't even
man,
know
it
that.
was- it was
that
amazing.
was why watching that video said that's why Washington was here
Right,
because
right,
we're on the river.
Right. That was quite a story. Quite a
Yeah,
story on that.
it's a wonderful story. Why don't we show the number 10? You talk about the stuff you build. I mean, this just sounds fantastic. I couldn't find it on your site. You're not giving that away. You're selling
that?
it, huh?
What's that?
The documentary you
The
did.
documentary. Yeah. It was actually up there. It's a little tricky to get to it.
I see.
But it's very interesting because the younger people didn't know about the civil rights movement.
Oh, man, yeah.
And then they start researching.
Right.
And then they start creating their own lyrics and their music. And they created a music video. You didn't get a chance to see that either. I should
No.
give you that.
I
Oh,
gotta
wow.
see that. And I'll
We
put it
have-
on my site.
Yeah.
But it's called, what's the name? Like the name of the video was, "What do Cheney, Goodman, and Schwerner, is that his name?
Right.
Yeah, have to do with me, right?
So then you said, well, who are these people?
Yeah, right. Okay, wait a minute. I got a little surprise for you. Yeah, I'm gonna have Obama teach us who these people are. Run that video.
I will never forget that I would not be standing here today if it weren't for the commitment that was made not only in the African American community, but also in the Jewish American community, and the great social movements in our country's history. Jewish and African Americans have stood shoulder to shoulder. They took buses down south together. They marched together. They bled together. And Jewish Americans like Andrew Goodman and Michael Schwerner were willing to die alongside a black man, James Cheney, on behalf of freedom and on behalf of equality. Their legacy is our inheritance. We must not allow the relationship between Jews and African Americans to suffer. This is a bond that must be strengthened. Together, we can rededicate ourselves to end prejudice and combat hatred in all its forms. Together, we can renew our commitment to justice. Together, we can join our voices together, and in doing so, even the mightiest of walls fall down.
Ooh, I
I've never
cry
seen
when
that
I.
before. I've never seen that before.
No, because
No.
I was looking who these guys are. Yeah,
Right,
Because
right.
I lived through that generation. I
Right.
guess I wasn't reading at the time.
Right.
And boy, I mean that's powerful stuff.
It was very
isn't it?
powerful stuff, and they created this music video
Yeah,
on that. They
yeah.
researched and saw it, and we let them look at civil rights films.
So
and
these
they-
are kids like 15,
15, 16, 17. They had to get immersed in it.
Yeah.
So then they could put it back
Yeah.
out there. And if they were organized on that level, they didn't have Facebook and Twitter back
Right,
then. And look what they
exactly,
did.
yeah.
So what can you do
They
today?
changed,
Once you
yeah.
understand the power of what you have
Right.
with the technology we have today,
Yeah.
and once you learn that content,
I'm
how do you
turning
put it
again,
back?
right?
How do you put it back out there? And how do you have an impact on your younger
Yeah.
people and adults?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the power of it.
Yeah.
And it's just very powerful when you see them get it.
Yeah.
You see the light come on.
But
That's
it's
the
not only
payoff.
that, boy, I mean,
That's the payoff.
Yeah,
when you
I
see
mean,
the light
that-
come on.
You're teaching them just
You know?
not only the techniques for a career,
Right.
yeah, or a way to participate.
Right.
The fella here is,
Right.
is one of those kind of guys learning
Yeah.
this, and how to do all this stuff. But you're teaching history.
Yes,
You're
that's correct.
teaching
That's correct.
current events. You're teaching, all this other stuff. I mean, like that. I mean, boy, just to learn about those
Right,
three
right.
guys.
And when you look at the small not-for-profits and the small
Yeah.
churches and the small businesses, they don't have these skill sets. They don't have
Right,
people there.
exactly.
So now these young people can go in
And
and become
do that.
entrepreneurs and go
Right.
out and create that arm set for them. That's the power of it, the
well,
beauty of it.
Reading about what you do, I mean, I believe in it so much from many ways, besides, I mean, something powerful like that, and that's why I'm dying to see that video, and I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
my wife
oh
would
yeah,
love
oh
to.
yeah. It's
So you have to
great.
show me the sneaky way how to see that. Someone
Well,
give me a tissue somewhere.
I'll get some links to you so you can have it.
Yeah. And but I think teaching what you're teaching is really the skills of the future.
Oh yes,
And
most definitely.
show me, put this slide up on the Whole New Mind, number 13. See, I read this book a few years ago. It's a big hot shot from the White House, and actually it was a big buddy of Gore's or something. And I sort of talk about this. In other words, believe in a lot of this is how we go through our country. We were farmers, at first, and then we were factory workers, and then when the information age. Well, now we're going in the conceptual age. See? And I think that's what America is really good at. Nobody else could do that. Right. See, China's going to do more of the factory and the knowledge and stuff like that. And we're really in that conceptual. Right. I mean, the storytelling. Storytelling. This is what this book is about.
So what does it say about the conceptual age?
Yeah,
what is
well,
the context
it
of
is.
that?
That's what, it's the creators.
Okay.
It's the people that create empathizers.
Right.
Like the show you're showing.
Right,
But
right.
this is what we're good at in this country,
Right.
is creating that kind of stuff, telling stories.
Right.
Let the Chinese do all this others, because they got 1 billion of them taking PhDs in physics. You know, we got to know about the other parts of life.
Okay.
And we've developed further, see, as a culture. So why go back and try to figure out how to be a farmer or something like that?
Right,
You know,
right, right.
That'd be going back and figuring out this other stuff. But like what you're doing, I mean, telling a story is so important. Whether you're a politician, like that's what you're doing. You're telling stories to these kids. They're telling their own stories,
That's right.
and seeing what life is. You know, and if you're selling anything, see, I think that's what all this media on the web and everything, it's all about telling stories.
About telling
Nothing else.
stories.
You could do a movie on anything. You could do a
That's right.
play on anything. You just know what the hell to do it on.
Right.
And that's right. This country, I think, is so good at that, and that's what we could develop. I mean, like this kind of thing. Now, the new MBA is a MFA, Masters of Fine Arts.
Okay.
Because that is what is really needed now in our culture, you know, and with all the media that anybody could tell a story. I mean, like now, what I do on the web now, I mean, this used to cost me 10 grand to have a
Right,
camera
right.
come in, and
Right,
I
right.
do it for $100.
And we're sitting here and listening on the radio and listening on the
Exactly,
internet
right.
and seeing it.
You're old enough to
and so
remember
we're
those
telling
days.
us, oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
go
yeah.
in the editing room at $300 an hour. These
Yeah.
guys are working their butt off trying to do
The
all this.
Steenbacks, remember those?
Right. There's old guys talking.
That's right. That's right.
And now you just take it on your lap and go to Starbucks and
That's
finish
right.
it. Yeah.
That's right.
But see what you're doing, the skills you are teaching and what you're learning. Yeah, this is our intern over here, is in the same kind of course.
Right.
I think are so important for the future. Because if you don't know how to communicate, nothing is going to happen.
That's
you know. We got more crap than we need. What do we need more crap for?
So you give them the history, and then from that history, they get the energy to create their own stories.
Yeah.
Because they see how the context of the history has beginning, middle, and end, and told a story. So then they start telling their stories.
Right. See,
And,
but
you
it's
know,
how to tell a story.
that's
You're
right,
teaching
how to
people
tell that
how to tell
story.
a story, and that's what it's all about. In a personal relationship, in any kind of relationship, a politician is trying to figure that out every day, right? So that's why I think the growth. Everybody's going to be doing stuff. We got to tell story. Now, the people I'm interviewing on the crowdfunding, I'm doing a lot there because I'm trying to understand it.
Right. Well, I'm familiar with
Yeah.
it, and
But see-
we had a conversation
Yeah,
about that.
but what I'm talking about, you talk to those people, that's where someone selling things could tell a story. We're going to have a guy on the phone a little bit.
Okay.
See, on there, and when you buy something on there, you're telling your friends. You go to Amazon and buy something, you're not telling anybody.
Right.
Because there's the story. You have the person, the individual, hey, I want to do this. It's in my heart. It's people like you and me
Right.
just pouring their heart out
Right.
and asking for money. And hey, and it's cutting out the system, cutting out the big boys.
That's correct. They're right to
They're
it.
giving more money now there than they are National Endowment of the Arts.
Really?
Yes. Now that's
news.
yes. Now here, let me show you another thing about documentary. This is 12 on documentary. See, now also that's what I feel. What you're doing. When I was, younger, this is that big graph there. That's the percentage of movie releases that are documentaries. Look at that. 10 years ago was nothing almost.
Wow.
Now it's like 20%.
Wow.
That's what's going on. I feel.
So information is really
Absolutely. But see,
factual,
it's
nonfiction.
Right.
but-
It's nonfiction. It's telling a story.
but
See, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if I had an idea like who's Roger Moore, about healthcare, you'd write a book. Now you do a movie. See, this is how we're getting the information out. See, that's why I feel you're doing is creating skills for people tomorrow to live.
That's right.
Not for you and I. We just have to help these suckers get there. Yeah.
And how does the content of the story better lives?
Pardon me?
How and what we're doing is not just telling a story, but how does the story, the content of the story, better lives for people?
Better
Better their lives.
Oh, better their lives. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. When
How do
you
we have an impact on them?
those 3 kids that were killed in the civil rights movement. I mean, that's we have to be careful. And how important that is.
They
And-
paid a price for
Absolutely.
the freedom that we have
Right,
today.
right.
And these young people need to realize
Right.
that. So what can you infuse in young people
Right.
about that
Right.
they can do to make it better for
Well, that's
everyone
right.
else?
You're showing them
Right.
the important thing, not to do a bubblegum thing,
Right.
something important in life too,
That's
and
right.
how satisfying that is.
That's right.
You know, because we have to keep relearning that in our own lives sometimes,
Most definitely.
no matter what age we are.
Like,
Yeah.
for instance, our next project is going to be around the largest development in this city since the Pentagon. And that is
The
the
what?
St. Elizabeth development, East Campus over there, where Microsoft and the Homeland Security
really?
and Microsoft Homeland Security and the Coast Guard
Uh-huh.
is coming in Ward 8.
Wow.
That's the
I wanna
largest
get
development.
Shane,
The
and
largest
you're going to do a
development.
video on that?
We're going to do development. We're going to do a video on
Do you
how
have the
that interacts with local businesses.
Yeah.
Local
And so
businesses.
how there, that big,
Right. Because it's going to be a
so the
gated,
effect on the local
it's going to be a
community,
gated
right.
community.
yeah.
So how does it impact
Yeah.
that local community there? Because Washington is changing.
Yeah. Oh,
Quickly.
God, we all are. Yeah,
Quickly.
we all have to change
Right.
it. And that's why someone that documented, identify the problems. That's what I mean. See, storytelling.
Right.
What could be more important in our growth than that?
And then not only they're learning the technical skills, they're being introduced to
get Shane?
entrepreneurship. They're being introduced to business.
Yes. Well, I see that's what you do too, is
Right.
entrepreneurship.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, and that's so now you have a set of skills. Even as kids, they could
Right.
go out and
That's right.
sell their skills.
That's right.
And they learn how to do that.
And that's why I said small businesses,
Right.
small churches, and,
Right.
and small
And
businesses.
that's-
They don't have an IT staff.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
And for a small business, you hire a kid and
Here, we can create a commercial for you.
right.
We can put it
exactly.
on the internet for you.
Absolutely. Right.
know?
And you're going to be cheaper than if I go on K Street.
That's right. And give you great quality.
Right. And do that. Well, what I want to do now is Shane is our Regiment grant expert. I think he's getting him now. Is Shane there? Yep. Okay. That I thought maybe he looked at your site in the last couple of days to
Okay.
see if he could, just have any ideas for you on funding money. He finds money for people, and he works for economic development down in Texas, and he's a sweet guy. So if he says something bad, just ignore him.
Okay.
He doesn't mean it. Shane, you there?
I'm here.
Hi. Can you hear Shane?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you can. Well, wonderful. So you have a chance to look at Lynn's site?
I have, and I've been listening to the interview, and I kind of have a couple questions, if that's all right.
You
Sure,
what?
Sure.
I have a few questions also, if that's
Uh-huh.
all right.
Yeah.
How does someone get involved with the organization?
Well, we have a phone number there. We have an email address there, and just contact us. But a lot of the work that we're doing is free for the young people here in the city, and we've talked about having adults and having them pay and so forth. But mainly we work with the Department of Employment Services here. We do a lot of referrals. We work with the schools. But if there are volunteers or people want to come in and work with us, our email and our phone number and our website is right there.
Wow. What you're doing is very fantastic.
Well, thank
and
you.
It looks like you're doing everything right. Another question I had was, how did you get Ludacris and Tiger Woods involved? I saw that they were funding.
Who is that?
Tiger Woods and Ludacris.
Tiger Woods Foundation.
Oh, yes. Well, Tiger Woods Foundation, they are big on youth. And so it is a national foundation, and they're big on youth programming. And so we just applied. You have to do your research. If you're running a not-for-profit, you got to look at all areas of research and kind of tailor-make to what you do. There's a foundation out there for everybody, for everything you do, and you just have to do the research and find out, well, they fund youth programs. They fund youth and media programs. They fund youth in urban areas programs. You just have to tie it down and look at what your niche is and go after it.
By the way, I don't know if you know Shane, but Tiger Woods also has a golf tournament in town.
That's right.
Right. So
That's right.
he's a little connected to the town that way.
So what we have to do is, because a lot of times these foundations, they fund you this year, they won't fund you next year. So we have to broaden our capacity and begin to continue to do that and begin to find corporate tie-ins. This is America, and we got to, do what we got to do
Use the
to make it
system,
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that everything you're doing is just perfect and on the spot. It really is. It's fantastic. Now, one thing that I kind of thought about is I've worked with a couple foundations, and a lot of times the foundation board members are on different boards. Did you ever approach the board members individually and ask them if they have another foundation they're involved with?
No, we mainly just talked to the people that was dealing with the grants. I know a lot of times you can research who was on. Are you saying that the board members of the various foundations, have you approached them individually? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, the reason why I'm asking is that not to ask them individually for money, but a lot of times all the foundations are interconnected. And a board member from the Tiger Woods Foundation may be also a board member of another foundation.
Right. Well, that's drilling down a little bit more, and that's an idea for us to consider. Yes, thank you for that idea.
So in other words, Shane, you get money from one foundation, and you find there's board members, and you say, "Hey, you just give me a bunch of money. You have any buddies on another foundation that can help me out?"
Right. And then what is your sister foundation?
Right.
What other foundations are you interconnecting?
Right. Who do you think may also be interested?
Right.
Yeah.
Who's that?
What did you say?
What did you say, Shane? I'm sorry.
Matthew, I didn't understand your question.
Oh, no, that wasn't a question. I was just reiterating what you were saying. So any other tips for Lynn?
Right. I mean, all those thank you notes that you send out to the foundation, I find it very helpful. I found out the board members and send thank you notes directly to them. And so sometimes it's kind of a soft pitch to them saying, thank you very much for this work. This is what we've been doing. And if you have any other sources available, we would love to talk to them.
Right. That's referrals are always a great thing to have.
That's great.
Yeah.
But we're trying to build capacity and trying to reach out to other foundations and corporate foundations. And so if you have any ideas about how to build capacity, we would love to hear that.
Okay. All right. Well, there's I forgot what website it is, but there's a website. I think it's called I'll give it to you. But you can pull up the 990 Vindy Foundation and find out the board members, and then you do a little bit more research, find out what of the boards they're on.
You mean
the
website that has the foundation for the 999?
Right. I understand the 990. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, well, he's a tough one to help because he's been everywhere. Man, the guy's been at it for 25 years. It seems like he does everything. Yeah. Well, thanks for giving it a shot, Shane.
Well, thanks.
Okay, and next week we'll talk about something else and maybe get somebody who's a little worse off than this guy. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you again for your help, Shane.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, let's see. Why don't we get the other guy on the line from the fundraiser? And while you're getting that, put up a slide. I have another slide I want to show you about documentaries. Documentaries, the one before the last one we just showed. I got so much paper here, I don't know what that comes to.
Yeah, I wish we had time for me to find the link 12. To show you the music video.
Yeah. That's okay. Thank you. Number 12? No. Oh, I see. That is up. Okay. I see, because here, I didn't have it on a slide. I was going to, but it was too much. Now, in that same report that did this about documentaries, they had some very interesting thing. Now, the guy who did the report, he said, documentaries often seek to benefit a broader public and can generate alternative revenue streams through grants from foundations and NGOs. Searching records from the Foundation Center, we found that in the period from 2002 to 2011, there were $70 million in grants to documentary filmmakers. So that's $70 million, with a medium grant size of $50,000, a significant source of funds in this low-budget field. While 2007 saw 81 grants awarded for $7 million, there were only 36 grants for $5 million in 2011. 7 to 11, it went from 81 to 36. So they're going down in nonprofits. But here's the important side. Outside of these institutional funds, filmmakers have turned to crowdfunding platforms such as Kickstarters and Indigo to help cover production costs. So they're using foundations less for documentary money and going into these Kickstarters and Indigo. I mentioned earlier that now Kickstarter gives more money out and more money than...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the National Endowment.
And I've actually had some friends who are doing documentaries,
really?
and I actually donated to them.
I said,
crowdfunding. You think I would have gotten my idea by that time? So, okay, trying to tell you something here.
Right. Well, let's talk to this crowdfunder. You on the line, Eric? Is he on the line? Oh, maybe not. I got the mute off, right? Yep. Mute off. You on the line? You there? Hello? Am I doing this right? Hello, you there? Oh, there you are.
Can't hear it through here, though.
Yeah, can't hear it through the... You got his audio there? Oh, okay. You hear him clear now. Okay, great. Well, you have a Kickstarter thing going, right? And I actually
yes, sir, I do.
Yeah. Well, tell us the name of the project. My paper's all over. It fell on the floor here. So you're going to help us out a little bit.
Sure. Our project is a board game.
Uh-huh.
It's called Napoleon, and it's about that famous general.
Ah, I've heard of
died
him. Even me,
years ago. Yeah. And so this is a board game where you're taking control of the armies of the time period and trying to refight it out, re-experience the excitement of that campaign, the famous Waterloo campaign of 1815. So it's a board game, and the people that like to play it are passionate about board games.
But you don't have the game yet, right? You don't have the game, right? Is that right, Grant?
This is actually a new edition of an old game.
Oh, a new edition of an old game. So you're trying to make a new edition of your game, and you want it like $14,000 to do that on crowdfunding. Yeah. And what are you up to now? Because I just turned in, I got one for a slide on the screen that shows 47,000, but I see you're clicking money in dollars every hour as it goes by. What are you up to now?
We're just shy of 50 right now, 49.5.
You had 50,000? I mean, an hour ago it was only 49,000. Man, I shouldn't be sitting here doing radio. I should be doing what you're doing.
It absolutely makes sense. If you've got an idea that the market will bear, then Kickstarter is a great way to find that out and get the money up front, so you transfer the risk of producing whatever it is you're going to produce, and the customers, they essentially take that risk for you, although you better end up delivering something or you'll be in big trouble.
So you're really getting money before you do anything. So it's like getting a grant to do something.
Right.
It's kind of like that. You certainly don't have to pay the money back. It is money that we have.
But more importantly, it's not from an investor. It's not from anybody else. It's actually from people who want to use your product.
Yeah. The only investment that we have to, exactly. The only investment we have to provide is the board game that they're supporting.
Yeah.
So they're not investors with control or venture capital, any kind of ownership. All they get is a board game. But some folks are actually stepping up and ordering 2 or more copies of the board game.
Ooh.
That's kind of exciting.
Yes.
And,
so did you? The board game is not. The board game is not finished yet. You just gave them the concept of what the game was going to be about, and that's it. And then they started donating because of the concept.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. The key thing that you have to be successful is you have to tell the people, your audience, what it is you're going to deliver and why they should take a chance with you and give you the money up front. Because, that's obviously a risk for the customer, but the whole angle is earning their trust. And so the crowdfunding model is not free money in a literal sense. You do still have to do some work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's definitely a better way to run your business than to go out and risk the money up front and hope you have a market,
So they just send this out to the general audience over the internet. There's no niche marketing of people who like Napoleon Bonaparte or anything like that. You're just sending it out broadly to everybody and then see who catches on. Is that how it works?
That's what I mean. Yeah, you got to reach the audience that is motivated and interested to buy your product. the Kickstarter audience in general is a cross section of all of America. So you have to fight within that for attention.
But you're busting your butt to get people at that site, right?
I sure am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm sending
So
out.
you just
email
don't go on
newsletters.
Kickstarter and
Okay, so you have to market yourself.
yeah, you got to bust your hump, and it's really like a platform. But you do get enough of things like, I mean, a certain amount just comes over the transit because you're on Kickstarter or one of these things.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it seems that right now Kickstarter is a very hip and happening kind of a thing. That you, in the game industry, all you have to say is, I have a game on Kickstarter.
I see.
And a lot of people, they know what that means, where, you know, if I just was to announce that I have a game coming out in June called Napoleon,
Oh, you do?
then I still,
Oh.
if I was to announce that as a fact,
Uh-huh.
instead of asking for the money through the Kickstarter platform, then I would have, you have to have more, you educate the consumers even better. They have a certain amount of faith in
Right.
Kickstarter, and that's
Right.
worth a lot.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's an exciting thing. Let me show another slide we have here. Oh, and that's right. So to find you, your website is, you know, to get on Kickstarter. For people want the game or whatever, what do they just go to? What's the website again?
You go to ColumbiaGames.com.
Okay, ColumbiaGames.com. And you'll see a link to Napoleon on Kickstarter there. And you already got 50
Exactly.
grand. Now, one thing how can you be so wrong, Grant? You want 14 and they're giving you 50. Now, how'd you screw up?
That's an interesting question. I'll tell you why we went a little bit low in the first place, is that if you don't reach your target, you don't get anything. The Kickstarter
okay.
people have a system there where they give you what you ask for if you reach it.
I
But
see.
if you reach only, say, 13,000, you get nothing. So that's one reason for sure. We couldn't, being our first effort in the Kickstarter platform, we couldn't risk asking
Right.
for a big chunk of money and maybe not getting anything. Although if I do a second one, I certainly can ask for a little
Okay,
bit
this
more.
is your first. Grant, I got to run along, okay? Oh, God, I got so much stuff to do. Okay, hold on, watch the rest of the show if you like. But I want to show another slide
sure
about
will.
Kickstarter. Why don't you show 19? Grant, thank you again
Thank
for
you so much. Thank you so much, sir. I
for your
appreciate your time. You take care.
You bet.
Bye now.
So
Thank
ColumbiaGames.com, ColumbiaGames.com. Now this is for you here. A documentary that funded through Kickstarter and won an Academy Award.
Oh boy. What is it about? What's it about?
It was a documentary about kids and homeless kids in New York City. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And it was funded through Kickstarter.
Exactly. See,
Wow.
that's what I mean. There's got to be something
All right.
going on in there. Yeah.
So you've made me a fan today.
Okay, I want to show another thing here. I'm running out of time, and I got so many things to say. My wife's sick of hearing me. Number 20. Okay, this is something interesting. The IRS, there's 1 million people, 967,000 people. The IRS has money for, like almost $1,000 a piece. And these are people, you only have another week to apply for this money. It's for people who there's that many people who did not file their tax returns for 2009 and have a refund coming. So you got a refund coming, and you were too lazy to file your taxes. And because they're late, because you have a refund, you don't have to pay any penalty or anything like that. Play this next video, and it'll tell you about it. The next line is...
Here's a tip from the IRS. Hi, I'm Michelle, and I work for the Internal Revenue Service. If you haven't filed a federal tax return in a few years, you probably think the IRS is the last place you want to go for help. If this sounds like you or someone you know, we want to help you get back on track. Because if you are due a refund, you only have 3 years to file and claim it. Not only that, you may be entitled to tax credits that may result in a refund for you. Remember, penalties for not filing only apply if you owe money. And if you do owe tax, we have programs that make paying easier than you may think. We can also help you file your tax return if it's overdue. For more information, go to irs.gov or call 1-800-TAX-1040. That's 1-800-829-1040.
Now, you see, those fat... Oh, no, we don't want that one. Forget her. We'll use her next week. But, every fat cat got an accountant to make sure they do all this stuff. So you got $1,000 sitting there, and there's 1 million of you out there. So tell your friends, anybody you think hasn't paid, you got to get that money. And actually, they say, reading in the small print, it's probably more. It's more than that, but that's a low ball.
So if they don't collect that money, where does it all go?
Exactly. Hey, it just goes to the government. So that's your money, not theirs. Get it back. Okay, let's run the scary numbers. I got some numbers I want to make sure you've seen, particularly talking about what are you going to do in the future and where the jobs are and stuff like that. Now, a little graphic here. You see scary numbers, number 25.
Okay.
You know what movie that's from.
Okay.
A lot of young people don't. But no, let's go. I mean, I read a lot, and I'm really interested. I'm trying to figure out where the world is going. So I could get on a wave and not be stuck on a beach or whatever. And so and data is very important for that. And numbers could scare you or they could help you. Let me show these two slides here about 25A. Okay, I mean, this is important stuff because if you're deciding what to do, where to go. Okay, this is from a great new book called Creative Innovators. So we have to start teaching people. This is with Lynn's work, teaching about, being creative, because that's our best part we have in this country is being creative. Like I'm taking Chinese now. I'm talking to a lot of Chinese people, and they look at the iPad and say, we would never create this. We can't do that. They can't. We're good creators. So that's why. Now here's some from this book. A couple of quotes here. There's no such thing anymore as a high-wage, middle-skilled job anymore. Only high-wage, high-skilled jobs. Now I grew up in the 50s. I guess you in the 60s. But boy, with a high school diploma, you could go and work in a factory, and you were making a lot more money than I was with a college degree. So those high-wage, middle-skilled jobs aren't there anymore, and they're only high-wage, high-skilled jobs. Every middle-class job today is either being pulled up, out, or down faster than ever. So middle-class jobs of the past are disappearing, that we used to rely on. It either requires more skill, or can be done by more people around the world, or is made obsolete faster than ever. So you got to be creative. You have to get not only skills, but you have to learn that creativity. And this is what Lynn's Place does to help kids do that, because you got to go somewhere and find out how you can make whatever you're doing a hell of a lot better than anybody else can. Okay, here's another op-ed piece I read the other day that had some great data in it. Where are we going as a nation? Where are the jobs going? Okay, get the next slide, 25B. Okay. The stuff. I mean, we all know things are changing. Old guys like us know things are changing more than young people.
Right.
Because it's just normal to them.
That's right.
But it's changing. So, I mean, this article I've been reading, it's from Jeffrey Sachs, who's a big egghead in Columbia University, a lot of books and all this kind of stuff. But he identifies that the disruptive forces in our society has been the rapidly evolving information technology. This is what Lynn's into now, trying to teach kids this, or the kids are trying to teach him, either
That's
way.
right.
Globalization and the environmental stresses in our society are rapidly reshaping jobs in America. Okay, since 2008, this is the important thing, 3.1 million new jobs were created for college graduate. Okay, so for 2008, we created 3 million jobs for college graduates, but 4 million jobs disappeared for high school graduates. So
Very
that's
interesting numbers.
Yeah, that's, I mean, numbers.
And I see why they're scary numbers.
Right. I mean, you feel that around you, but when
Yeah.
you see a number that sort of smacks you in the eyes, go back on us. We gotta go back on us. Back on us. Oh, back on. We want to show our pretty faces before we leave here, okay? Well, man, it's been a delightful.
That's been my pleasure.
Time
my
with
pleasure.
you. And
I've learned something today.
What'd you learn? how to be
Kickstarter,
more organized. What's that?
crowdfunding, Kickstarter,
Yeah, I mean,
documentaries.
I think something.
Yeah, that's very
documentaries
powerful.
Is good stuff. Yeah.
I thought you had to deal with a niche market, but I think what he had to do, though, he had to market to his niche market to get them to come to Kickstarter.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Right. But see, marketing that way is now online is
That's
done
right.
differently than you and I did it.
That's right.
And that's why your kids know that stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you. Let's run that end of the show. I got a little Lesko. He's going to play this. You have that there to run. So go out on that. Where is that? Number 29, a video about how the government gives money for festivals. This is the thing we couldn't do that.
Hey everybody, I'm Little Lesko, and I love hanging out in parks. Yeah, beautiful. You know, parks offer a lot of cool free things for people. You got trees, you got grass, you got walking paths, free area to hang out. But occasionally park officials and local government officials use parks to hold big-time community festivals from the government for free. I found out about just such a festival in Washington, Pennsylvania, where they have a thing called the Covered Bridge Festival. So I went to check it out.
In Washington County parks, we have three what we call traditional parks, and they represent about 6,000 acres of land in the county. And they tend to be just like you see here at Mingo. They're very, very natural setting. Mingo Creek County Park does have two covered bridges here in the park. The Ebenezer Covered Bridge, which the Tourism Promotion Agency hosts their festival at, and then the Henry Covered Bridge, which is on the eastern end down by Finleyville.
The festival, the idea of the festival was first started as a joint idea for the tourism agency, from the county commissioners, and from the Parks Department, as not only a community activity, but it was at one time the primary fundraiser for the Tourism Promotion Agency before the hotel tax was enacted. Through the years, of course, the festival has grown. Now it's not close to being our largest source of income, but it is still something that we deal with and organize with great pride for the community, for the county, that celebrates our heritage, celebrates the heritage of our covered bridges. We're blessed to have 23 covered bridges throughout our county, and there are several down in Greene County as well, south of us. The focus of the event is not only to celebrate our covered bridges, but then at the individual festival sites, it's arts and crafts, it's food, it's entertainment, it's music, it's a celebration of Washington County. Well, there is no charge for admission. There's no charge for parking to anyone. So in that sense, it is truly a community event. There are some other arts and crafts festivals that do charge for admission to the general public to come in. We do not charge at all for parking or for admission. If you buy something, of course, you're on your own. If you buy some food, you're on your own. But the admission, the access, is completely provided free to the public. All right, here's your background. You're here on the Thursday before the festival starts on Saturday. So the whole Parks Department staff is here. They're weed whacking, they're cleaning this is the Parks office, they're cleaning the Parks office. We lined out where all the booths are going to be. They're putting all the parking stanchions in place. They're working on all the roads. I mean, it's getting things ready for the opening of the park and the opening of the festival. So that's why there's such a beehive of activity around here. We couldn't do this without the Parks Department, because the Parks Department, we're in their house right now, basically. This is their territory. Mingo Creek County Park is one of the most fabulous county parks that you'll ever see. And the programs that they have here throughout the year are just wonderful that they provide for the public. That we're able to have this kind of festival out here in the beauty of nature in Washington County in southwestern Pennsylvania, and celebrate it around a covered bridge is what really makes it special.
As a park staff, we do a lot of the preparation prior to the festival, preparing the parking areas, making sure that everything's kosher, as far as yellow jackets and that, painting out the spaces for the vendors to set their tents up in. And during the festival, we assist with parking. Washington County also provides the law enforcement officials and traffic control throughout the park.
The Parks Department coordinates the site. We coordinate who comes into VEN, what arts and crafts vendors come in, what food vendors come in, what bands are here, We make out the schedules. We do all the coordinating from that side, plus we also market the festival as well. And we are responsible, we coordinate, put on the festival only here for the Ebenezer Bridge site here in Mingo Creek County Park. There are 10 other festival sites throughout Washington and Greene counties where the same thing will be going on this weekend. That makes the whole entire Covered Bridge Festival for both counties. We are responsible only for organizing and executing this site, but we promote all 10 sites.
These bridges are maintained, as all the covered bridges in Washington County are maintained by the Washington County Bridge Department. And there's also, they're under the Washington County Planning Commission. Parks and Rec Department, the Bridge Department, we're all overseen and run by the Washington County Planning Commission. They're nice to look at, and they're very scenic. You know, the estimates are, and it's really difficult to get an estimate, but we estimate in some years between 60 and 80,000 people visit the park for the weekend. Being here for 10 years now, that we see a lot of the same people, and we see people that come to our programs throughout the year. They bring, you know, they bring their families, but we're also aware that there are visitors and people come from a distance to the festival.
From what we can tell, it is one of the most popular festivals throughout the fall. A lot of folks tell us they know fall has begun when the Covered Bridge Festival comes around, because we're the third weekend in September every year. It kind of kicks off the fall festival season here in southwestern Pennsylvania. It's usually beautiful weather, perfect timing, the leaves start changing. And from what we are told from the public, this is one of the best ones that they go to. If a municipality is trying to do something like this, in my mind, this is strictly my opinion, this is no standpoint from anybody else, there are a lot of other festivals that are out there that do arts and crafts things all over the place and do them very well. Celebrate your heritage and your uniqueness in your area, and if you can do something like that to hang your hat on, then I think you would have some success. You have to have a county government that is proactive and very backing of these type of procedures, these type of institutions, and that know the value of tourism and hospitality. And then you have to have great participation from everybody. Again, we could not do this without the Parks Department, our commissioners, the Planning Commission, all the folks that make these type of things happen. Midday Saturday, this place would just be a sea of folks coming out, buying arts and crafts, bringing their kids, enjoying the music, just enjoying the atmosphere, and that's what excites me. Is it's a great celebration for Washington County.
Okay, so thanks to festivals like the Covered Bridge Festival in Washington, Pennsylvania, people have a place to go to celebrate their community and also have a great time. So I'm going to start my own festival right here, right now, called the One Man Kite Festival. Give me that. Hey, you guys! Oh. For free!